Good morning, all of you. Welcome back to the channel. So let's start with the analysis for 16th of October. So new investments, they have slowed again in quarter two of this current financial year, according to the survey. So fresh investments में basically हमें slowdown देखने को मिल रहा है. So investment demand and again consumption demand दो important factors है जिसके basis पे sustainability of economic growth depend करती है. So herein we are seeing कि fresh investments में we are seeing a little slowdown. So आने वाले टाइम में ट्रेंड देखना हमारे लिए इम्पोर्टेंट होगा. दिस इज अगेन फॉर जस्ट क्वार्टर टू. So that's there, and private investment plans, they have shrunk for the second quarter in a row. So iski wajah se we can say ki this can be also an outcome because of certain external factors. We are seeing slowdown in globally, we are seeing economic slowdown, so it can be because of that as well. So right now we can say ki public expenditure or fiscal policy, that too planned capital expenditure, that is going to play an important role in terms of driving the investment cycle, and government has been also focusing upon that thing. Then Israel readies for the attack as 1 million people evacuate. So northern Gaza Strip की अगर हम बात करें, so Israel basically Israel ने warning issue already कर दी थी कि people should evacuate the northern Gaza Strip because Israel is planning a ground attack there. So as the huge population leaves the North Gaza, Israel says it restored the water supply on the US intervention and it will push the civilians to the southern strip. So in a way, it is leading to human rights violation also, that another country, it is saying people which are residing in different territory to evacuate this region. And secondly, जो advantage definitely यहाँ पे water supply के terms में अगर हम बात करें तो people are reeling under, they are not getting water supply, they are not getting adequate amount of food and basic services. So this is what right now is the current update as far as this war is concerned. And definitely it is clear indication towards being more violent and being much more disruptive. So when we talk about the livelihood issues in Chhattisgarh, so definitely यहाँ पे काफी सारी dilemmas exist करती है when we talk about safeguarding the rights of the forest dwellers, the tribal community which resides in the forest, and at the same time conserving the forest, the biodiversity, and the ecology. So corruption and communalism, it may trump the livelihood issues in Chhattisgarh. So right now, this is a possibility. It is written that it may trump. So a communal angle is also involved in this issue. So Chhattisgarh mein we are seeing currently Congress, the ruling party, it has built election pranks. So we will not go into this. But for us, what is important is the Forest Conservation Act. What are the important features of that? Then fifth and sixth schedule, that becomes important. And at the ground level, when we talk about even implementation of the PESA Act in these scheduled tribes regions. So how effective have been the PESA Act in terms of giving the political rights to the scheduled tribes residing in these areas? So that becomes important. And there have been certain case studies also when we talk about that tribals, they protest some kind of, projects which are related to mining activities or setting up of industries. So that is also another thing, because वहाँ पे जो concerns है that that is obviously firstly people would have to be translocated to different region. So even जो rehabilitation plans है वो effectively implement नहीं किए जाते. So in a way their entire life it kind of comes to a standstill and they don't know basically what to do. The next thing क्या होना चाहिए, livelihood opportunities उनके पास नहीं होती है. जिन region में भी उनको translocate किया जाता है वहाँ पे environment ऐसा होता है which does not support them, and definitely वो इतने सालों से एक particular area में रह रहे हैं, they have been following their traditional activities, practicing their culture. So all of this thing in a way actually gets disrupted, and definitely tribals का environment conservation में भी बहुत important role होता है. So these are some other dimensions that we can think of in this particular issue. Pravesh, do you want to add up something here?
नहीं, इसमें ऐसा कुछ है नहीं, तो आगे चल.
Okay. So we need to stop taking water for granted. So herein, when we talk about theme for the World Food Day, which is celebrated on 16th of October, the theme is water is life, water is food. So this calls for urgent action in managing the water wisely. So water management and conservation both are very important. Availability or lack of water, it has become even more critical with the increasing climate extremes. So when we are seeing that we are reeling under the extremities, the impact of climate change, so situation और ज़्यादा खराब होती हुई दिखाई दे रही है. So that is why management of water becomes important. So we can use our traditional water management practices, and then dam safety bill, that also becomes important from the perspective of management of the water level in the reservoirs, even that is important. Then UN Sustainable Development Goals, Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations and International Fund for the Agricultural Development and United Nations World Food Program. So these are different UN food agencies which have laid down stress what is the need to adopt innovative and collaborative approaches for the improved management, conservation, and availability of scarce water resources. So different schemes are going on, which have been initiated in India. Apart from this, when we talk about global level पे certain initiatives, so life, wherein we talk about lifestyle for the environment, so that is important. And even when we talk about specifically the agriculture sector, so therein also we are focusing upon how we can shift away, or how we can basically change the cropping pattern in order to move or diversify the risk which is associated with water, because we are trying to ensure कि specifically North Indian states में we ensure कि ऐसे crops हम cultivate करें which are not water intensive, like we can go ahead with millets cultivation. So these are some of the measures. And then drip irrigation, that is also one of the important ideas. Per drop more crop, that is also we are seeing being implemented at the ground level. And apart from this, when we talk about the importance of aeronomics or hydronomics, these are also some important innovative areas where we can go ahead with the cultivation of crops which do not actually require soil. So that also will help us in ensuring the food security at the same time. So irrigational practices may innovations that can help us, and water and crop production. So herein, it is talking about the agricultural sector. So Government of India has assessed the impact of climate change in 2050 and 2080 using climate projections and crop simulation models के through हमने assess किया है, या हम जानने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि 2050 या 2080 तक क्या impacts हो सकते हैं. So without adaptation measures, rain-fed rice yields in India, they are projected to reduce by 20% by 2050, by 47 in 2080 scenarios. So जो basically we are seeing कि already we are having the challenge of low productivity in Indian agriculture. So आने वाले time में we expect कि yield और ज़्यादा कम हो सकती है. So that is one thing that we need to now take into consideration when we are even formulating our policies. And when we talk at the different state level, the Food and Agriculture Organization, Andhra Pradesh mein, Karnataka, Himachal, Maharashtra, it is piloting a crop forecasting framework and model incorporating climate, जिसमें weather, soil characteristics, market information that would come to the aid to the rain-fed farmers in making informed decisions contributing to food security. तो यहाँ पे important जो terms use की गई हैं, basically working upon crop forecasting framework, and उसमें different जो climate, weather, soil characteristics, market information, ये सारी चीजें use करके informed decisions हम ले सकते हैं. Definitely इसमें artificial intelligence technology का भी important role आ जाता है. So adaptation methods पे हम follow कर सकते हैं. We can learn from different countries' experiences. And UP की अगर हम बात करें, it supported the farmer, the water school program in UP. So even behavioral change, definitely that is very important, and we know this thing. So wash initiatives जो हम बात कर सकते हैं उसके बारे में, school level पे भी behavioral change की अगर हम बात करते तो that can be we can say an important stakeholder when it comes to behavioral changes in the habits of students, which helped the smallholder farmers also. So this model, UP model, we can learn from this, and we can again implement this in different states. So at the same time, when we look at Andhra Pradesh farmer managed groundwater systems project. So it reached out to 638 habitations in 7 drought-prone districts that included a hydrological monitoring program. So even drought-prone districts ke liye, we can then go ahead with this model also because it proved to be successful. So these are some of the innovative ideas that have been successful in India at the ground level. What are the steps, other steps needed? So in order to keep in mind ki food security, nutritional security compromise na ho, but at the same time we are able to again manage the water also. So political commitment, that is definitely needed, as much as concrete investments also. So needed policies or investment, they need to promote innovative and proven technologies that we have, so that hum productivity bhi increase kar sake simultaneously. Then secondly, we need to adapt to the climate change and become more resilient to the shocks. So resilience में definitely millets का importance बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाता है, and millets साथ के साथ help करेंगे in terms of dealing with nutritional security also. Then environmentally and socially sustainable and financially viable irrigation and water management strategies होने चाहिए. So इसमें हमारी traditional water management and conservation practices, they can be promoted. We can reduce their climate footprint of the agricultural production. So this is from the perspective of the reduction of the greenhouse gases emissions, as well as biohazards and environmental pollution. Then we need to bring sanitation and drinking water supplies closer to the rural households also, and adopt efficient food and water recycling strategies. We need to strengthen institutional arrangements, capacity for sustainable, equitable water regulations. So meeting the SDG goals, that is also very, very important. So UN food agencies के साथ we need to collaborate. Different programs जो हैं, we need to ensure that in a collaborated manner they are implemented in India, and we need to work closely with the government of India. So basically UN food agencies, government of India, different state governments, a cooperative federalism model emerge होना चाहिए at this level. Innovations like solar for resilience, secure fishing, and revival of millets for the renewable energy promotion, food security, nutrition. So this was all about all around basically water management.
So
Yeah.
according to Central Groundwater Authority, India is the largest exploiter of the groundwater, which leads to depletion of the groundwater and the water table. Number second, according to reports of Pritham-like organizations in multi-layer cities, for an example, Bombay, Delhi, around 75% people who drinks water that is non-potable, that is full of chemicals. These two facts are connoting the idea that the problem is water is not that water is not available, but what kind of water is available, where it is available, and how to use it, and what are the institutional mechanisms. तो मैं कुछ चीजों पर थोड़ी लाइमलाइट डालना चाहता हूँ, जैसे कि सबसे पहले हम अर्बन एरियाज की बात करते हैं. So in urban areas, what we are seeing that there is excess usage of groundwater by using the submersible techniques. Obviously, the MCD, the municipalities do take a steps, but still, every 7 house out of 10 has the facility of underground submersible system that leads to depletion of the groundwater table. So इसके ऊपर एक रोक लगनी चाहिए and proper monitoring होनी चाहिए by the municipalities. इसके अलावा आप जो हमारे वाटर रिसाइकलिंग प्लांट्स हैं, आप उन वाटर रिसाइकलिंग प्लांट्स की जो कैपेसिटी है उनको इतना रोबस्ट करें ताकि जो वाटर हमारी पाइपलाइंस के द्वारा लोगों के पास जाता है वो पोर्टेबल हो और उनकी हेल्थ में किसी भी तरीके की कमी ना आए. इसका एक जो नेगेटिव आयाम है वो ये है कि व्हेन द पीपल आर नॉट हैविंग द एक्सेस टू इनफ एंड पोर्टेबल वाटर, दैट हैज लेड टू द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ एंड राइज ऑफ water centers by the private individuals, jahan par wo they have cartelization with the local water officials to not release the water on the time, and that leads to people to go outside and to buy the bottles of water even though the government is providing. So इन चीजों पे काफी काम करने की जरूरत है. एंड इसी के साथ हमारे पास जो मीटर्स हैं, हमको वाटर मीटर्स के ऊपर भी थोड़ा स्मार्ट मीटर्स लगाने चाहिए ताकि उसमें भी जो करप्शन जैसी चीजें देखने को मिलती है और जो नॉन रिपोर्टिंग देखने को मिलती है वाटर मीटर्स में, वो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी की तरीके से, मतलब उसमें जो घाटा होता है वाटर डिपार्टमेंट को वो ना हो, और ये फाइनेंशियल जो इकट्ठे होंगे उनको इस रिगार्ड में लगाया जाए। अब बात करते हैं थोड़ी एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में। तो एग्रीकल्चर में ऑब्वियसली बिकॉज ऑफ द फ्रीक्वेंट रेन and per crop, more crop, millets, sustainable agriculture, this is focused today. But along with that, what we really require is that the irrigation facilities should be very much robust, especially with the help of panchayat raj institutions. Earlier in the in the earlier decade, what we used to have is a very traditional form of systems like johards, baulis, or hodis, these kinds of things. But today we are seeing that they are not very much focused by the grassroots governance. So they should be revived. Along with that, in the institutional setup, all the governments institutions, for an example, we have government departments, offices. This should be mandatory for all these government officers, all these government offices at the time of construction of their buildings to have the water irrigation mechanism and rainwater harvesting mechanism so that it can be used. इसी के साथ जो हमारे यहाँ जो वाटर की जो प्रॉब्लम है वो ऐसा है कि मतलब कहीं पर डेफिशिएंसी होती है और कहीं पर एक्सेस होती है. तो अगेन इन दिस रिगार्ड वी शुड ट्राई टू use and we should try to link the deficient and the water surplus area by using various artificial intelligence and scientific advancements which are happening, because when we are talking about hyperloop like things in which the people can commute in seconds with which will run with a supersonic speed, so our scientific advancements can also work in this regard to have an R&D to specially deal this problem. So these are following measures I am citing. So now you can continue.
Okay. So laws of a war, do we really think कि war fight करने के भी कुछ laws होते हैं? तो in a way अगर we say कि laws exist करते हैं to fight a war, तो एक तरीके से आप war को justify कर रहे हो. So what are the international laws when it comes to questions of war, civilian attacks, hostage taking, etc.? So is this collective punishment for a crime which is conducted by a specific person's legal? क्या ये legal है? And is the warning which is given by Israel to Gaza residents to evacuate from the northern Gaza Strip, क्या वो adequate है या नहीं? तो लॉज क्या है वॉर फाइट करने के? तो दो सेपरेट और इंडिपेंडेंट इंटरनेशनल लॉ हैं जो क्वेश्चंस करते हैं रिलेटेड टू वॉर्स. सो फर्स्ट इज कौन सी ऐसी कंडीशंस हैं या कब कंट्रीज फोर्स को यूज कर सकते हैं इन देयर इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस. सो दिस इज नोन एज द जस्ट एड बेलम व्हिच इज regulated by United Nations Charter. And second जो है that is how is a war to be fought? कैसे आप war को fight कर सकते हो? क्या कौन से basically military actions, artillery, weapons आप use कर सकते हो और वो उनको use करना permissible भी है. So इसको बोलते हैं jus in bello. So assuming a country it is justified under the UN Charter to use the force, it still must ensure कि it satisfies all these aspects, and justification to use the force does not relieve a country of its obligations to use such a force in accordance with the international law. So basically ये जो law है ये in a way it is not stating particular condition, कौन सी कंडीशन के अंदर आप फाइट कर सकते हो वॉर या कब वो जस्टिफाइड होगा. तो बेसिकली वो दो एस्पेक्ट्स पे क्वेश्चन रेज करते हैं. So but it is a kind of very difficult questions जो हैं that are definitely rational, but आप कैसे किसी war को justify कर सकते हो, use of force and military को कैसे आप justify कर सकते हो, because using force it would somewhere lead to again जो collective punishment है, human rights violations है, losing the lives of civilians है, आप उसको कैसे justify कर सकते हो. So we'll keep it this much. So Sri Lanka moved towards RCEP, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, and Bangladesh is also planning to join it. So 4 years after basically India decided कि will not be joining the RCEP agreements because of the concerns that we had regarding if we join RCEP agreement उसका हमारे domestic agricultural sector पे farmers के interest पे negative impact हो सकता है. So that is why India did not join it, and Bangladesh is also considering to join it. So should India join या कब इंडिया को ज्वाइन करना चाहिए, ये कुछ क्वेश्चंस हो सकते हैं. एंड श्रीलंका इज ऑलरेडी अप्लाइड टू ज्वाइन इट, सो definitely Sri Lanka, it is also beginning, it is basically going to be a part of even BRI also. So we are seeing ki in a way Southeast Asia ke towards, yeah, when we talk about even, you know, Sri Lanka, it is also taking into consideration, it is trying to balance कि कैसे वो even, you know, India के interest को भी hurt ना करे, and it is again going forward with कि चाइना जो चाहता है BRI के साथ भी वो पार्टिसिपेट करे. तो बांग्लादेश गवर्नमेंट की जब हम बात करते हैं तो उस कॉमर्स मिनिस्ट्री इज रिकमेंडेड ज्वाइनिंग RCEP. So basically this is in initial stages and it is मतलब final decision अभी नहीं लिया when we talk about Bangladesh. So क्या अगर श्रीलंका या बांग्लादेश RCEP ज्वाइन करते तो उसका इंडिया के ऊपर कोई नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट हो सकता है? एज सच कोई डायरेक्ट नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट इंडिया के ऊपर नहीं होगा या पॉजिटिव इम्पैक्ट नहीं होगा, बट इन अ वे वी कैन से कि इंडिया स्टेइंग आउट ऑफ RCEP, वो चीज के बारे में हम ज्यादा सोचेंगे. तो उस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में इंडिया के इंटरेस्ट, पॉसिबल इंटरेस्ट जो हम फॉरगिव कर रहे हैं या फॉरगो कर रहे हैं, या जो बेसिकली अगर हम ज्वाइन करते तो क्या हमें क्या और फायदे हो सकते थे, बट फॉर द टाइम बीइंग जो हमारा कंसर्न था इवन दैट होल्ड्स ट्रू. सो इनिशियली या फॉर द टाइम बीइंग जब हम क्वेश्चन रेज कर रहे हैं कि कब इंडिया को RCEP ज्वाइन करना, हम बोल सकते हैं कि नाउ वी कैन ज्वाइन RCEP. तो फॉर दैट वी आर फर्स्ट ट्राइंग टू इंश्योर कि जो हमारा डोमेस्टिक एग्रीकल्चरल सेक्टर की रेजिलेंस है, जो फूड प्रोसेसिंग इंडस्ट्री की अगेन competitiveness, we are working upon self-sufficiency, we are working upon increasing the skills, the domestic capacity. So once that is, you know, sufficiently established and we have that much of capacity, we can definitely go ahead with RCEP, क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं वो हमारा जो हम बोलते हैं कि ट्रेड सप्लीमेंटेशन या ट्रेड को कॉम्प्लीमेंट करने में डेफिनेटली बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले कर सकते हैं. Then free trade, definitely India के अभी जो current approach है, we are going ahead with signing of the free trade agreements at the bilateral level. And then we also had that we are also part of 2006 South Asia Free Trade Agreement also, so we are a part of it also. So हमारे लिए important है कि after joining this 2006 SAFTA, India में basically क्या ज्यादा फायदे हमें देखने को मिले आफ्टर साइनिंग दिस एग्रीमेंट, सो उसको असेस करना हमारे लिए इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाएगा. देन रीथिंकिंग दिस डिसीजन अगेन, जो अभी हम बात कर रहे थे कि शुड इंडिया ज्वाइन RCEP और नॉट. वी आर सीइंग कि इंडिया के जो नेबरहुड कंट्रीज है दे आर इंटरेस्टेड इन ज्वाइनिंग RCEP, सो वी कैन गो इनटू ऑल दीज डायनामिक्स अराउंड दिस. So यहाँ पे you can see कि final RCEP document जो है it said कि 15 countries they would aim to eliminate up to 90% of tariffs which are imported in the goods traded within the bloc within next 20 years. So basically free trade agreement की तरफ ही हम in a way move कर रहे हैं, but यहाँ पे again बात आ जाती है जब tariffs remove कर दोगे तो ultimately आपके जो domestic sector की competitiveness है वो आपका you know interest या benefits या negatives determine करेगी. So center it is thinking upon this thing कि जो retirement age है for the scientist क्या वो increase कर देनी चाहिए to 65 years. So definitely we increase their age, so that would be helping us in terms of you know leveraging जो उनका पूरा lifetime experience रहा है, जो skills उन्होंने equip करी है, that can definitely be successful in terms of making our future missions more successful. So that the aim is to stem the flight of the top scientists to universities and IITs. तो एक ये trend भी देखा गया है कि आफ्टर रिटायरमेंट साइंटिस्ट जो हैं दे मूव टू ईदर फॉरेन कंट्रीज टू फॉरेन यूनिवर्सिटीज और इवन यूनिवर्सिटीज विद इन इंडिया एंड IITs. So science ministry it sends notes to 14 bodies seeking details of those nearing the retirement and financial implication of enhanced tenures. So concerns की अगर हम बात करें if the retirement age is increased to 65 years, so कुछ financial implications भी definitely जो है गवर्नमेंट को बेयर करने पड़ेंगे. बट अगेन यहाँ पे भी हम बात कर सकते हैं कॉस्ट बेनिफिट एनालिसिस की. So aim is to bring parity. Why should our ministry scientists they be disadvantaged? However, it is still an early stage proposal, and right now this is under discussion. So that is there, and the DBT has reportedly already sent the details. Econs eligible scientists for the evaluation, scientists who work in autonomous institutions of the Ministry of Earth Sciences, they're also likely to come within the ambit of this proposal. And this is not the first time कि इस topic के ऊपर discussion किया जा रहा है. 2015 में भी this was again taken up for discussion. So draft cabinet note 2015 में, which was led by the ministry, said कि this move, it would bring parity in the service conditions of the research scientists working in different arms of the government. So जो general trend देखा गया ministries में, it has been to give the scientists nearing retirement extensions that may increase their tenure by up to 2 to up to 5 years. So extensions generally ये trend follow किया जाता है. तो instead of going ahead with giving extensions, आप retirement age अगर as a permanent initiative लेके आते हो, तो that would be something, again वो थोड़ा disrupting नहीं होगा. So railways, it develops anti-freeze flushes and fuel tanks for the journeys, especially in Jammu and Kashmir. So the process of linking Kashmir to Kanyakumari through the new Udhampur-Srinagar Baramulla rail link project, it poses a unique challenge to the railways in maintaining water and fuel in liquid form in sub-zero temperatures during the winter. So we're basically using the technology that we have and trying to overcome the challenges that we are witnessing. Now, Abhi, we can't say that directly Iran is involved in this war, but USA has also issued a warning of the prospects. Agar aane wale time mein Iran also gets engaged in this war, because somewhere USA is anti-Iran. So Washington fears the opening up of a new battlefront. So with Israel's border with the Lebanon. And then White House says Biden has stationed an aircraft carrier also in Eastern Mediterranean and in the Gulf. So exactly we need to know about the location. Eastern Mediterranean Ocean की जब हम बात करते हैं, Mediterranean Sea की जब हम बात कर रहे हैं, so which all countries are sharing definitely border with this sea, and landlocked country की अगर हम बात करें, so that is Jordan. Apart from this, different important locations from the perspective of lakes कौन से located है, like Sea of Galilee is there, and then Golan Heights is located. We need to know about the Sinai Peninsula, Gaza Strip, Western Bank, then exact location of Lebanon, which is towards the north of Israel. Syria kahan located hai. So these are some of the important locations which you can spot on map. So even if we say कि Iran gets involved in this war, so उसके India के लिए क्या repercussions हो सकते हैं? तो this war would somewhere, it will come closer to Indian borders. So because of that, again, हमारे लिए भी security perspectives के थोड़ा risk and concerns और increase हो सकते हैं. And जो major risk है, that is economic risk की अगर हम बात करें, तो that is associated with the trade disruption. When we are already seeing कि हमारे जो exports है, they are slowing down. So that is there, and then slow down in the implementation of the West Asia Economic Corridor, that can also be an impact of this. So if we talk about Afghanistan and England match, so before this match, in a way, अगर हम बात करें तो it was visible कि somewhere England, it was underestimating the capabilities of Afghanistan. But what turned out was कि Afghanistan, it basically won this war. So you should never underestimate the skills and the potential of your opponent. So things should never be underestimated. So IOC amends the Olympic Charter to strengthen its human rights commitments. So International Olympic Committee, they have made some amendments to strengthen human rights commitments during the first day of the 141st session here. So basically, we saw key Russian athletes, they were banned from participating during the recent games that were held, Asian Games. So inclusion of additional wordings relating to respect of human rights after the executive board had made a recommendation on this. And fundamental principles of Olympism as an overarching commitment to the respect for the human rights, especially in the fundamental principles of Olympism 1 and 4. So we need to spot exactly कौन से fundamental principles, principle number 1 and 4 हैं. So the change is a result of the work by the Legal Affairs Commission and its consultation with the Advisory Committee on Human Rights. So even when we talk about participation in different sports, and even when you're participating, so then also in the game, in the spirit of competitiveness, you can't lead to certain actions. Yeah, even, when the basis of, again, deciding the winner is concerned, so that shouldn't be compromised, or shouldn't be compromised in the sense ki if the like it shouldn't be taken on the basis of participants of from which particular country or community or religion. So this is basically a major step, which is in the direction to the commitment to the respect for human rights in the Olympic movement. Okay, coming to mid newspaper. So safety first, why ADAS cars, they are talk of the town. So what is this ADAS? ADAS is Advanced Driver Assistance Systems. So main question ये उठता है कि with the system, क्या हम इंश्योर कर सकते हैं जो हमारे लाइक रोड एक्सीडेंट्स होते हैं एंड जो द नंबर ऑफ डेथ्स है जो इंक्रीज हो रहे हैं बिकॉज ऑफ द रोड एक्सीडेंट्स, क्या वो हम रिड्यूस कर पाएंगे विद द हेल्प ऑफ दिस टेक्नोलॉजी ऑफ एडवांस्ड ड्राइवर असिस्टेंस सिस्टम्स? सो firstly it is important to understand कि कौन सी basically technology use की जा रही है. So the system uses sensors, cameras, artificial intelligence so as to enhance drivers ability to drive safely and comfortably. तो ground level पे results हमारे लिए ज़्यादा important होंगे in order to assess the effectiveness of this technology. Depending on the degree of automation, this technology is offered in 5 tiers, with tier 5 being fully autonomous driving. So even fully autonomous driving से related भी safety concerns definitely है. क्या हम 100% ऐसे systems के ऊपर rely कर सकते हैं या नहीं कर सकते हैं? And क्या effectiveness है, क्या success rate है when it comes to preventing accidents? So it basically includes detecting the pedestrians on the road. So definitely इस जो नेचर ऑफ एक्सीडेंट्स है वो डिफरेंटली कैटेगराइज किए गए और उनको टारगेट करने की कोशिश की गई है. ऑटोमेटिक इमरजेंसी ब्रेकिंग सिस्टम इज अ पार्ट, अडेप्टिव क्रूज कंट्रोल, parking assistant is there, lane keeping assistance is there, fully autonomous driving. So these are some of the components. So ADAS equipped cars accounted for nearly only 2% of the total passenger vehicle sales in India as of now. So definitely we need to bring this technology in almost all the cars which are available. So right now अगर हम इंडिया में बात करें तो कौन से कार मेकर्स है जो ये टेक्नोलॉजी से इक्विप्ड व्हीकल्स ऑफर करते हैं, तो दैट इज इट इंक्लूड्स महिंद्रा एंड एमजी. दे अकाउंट फॉर नियरली 70 to 80% of the ADAS equipped models which are sold in India. So even यहाँ पे behavioral change also when it comes to the decision जब आप ले रहे हो to buy a new car, तो क्या बायर्स इस चीज को अकाउंट में ले रहे हैं? आर दे प्रायोरिटाइजिंग देयर सेफ्टी और नॉट? सो सेफ्टी डेफिनेटली की फैक्टर है व्हेन इट कम्स टू इन्फ्लुएंसिंग द कार बायर्स, बट दिस वाज नॉट द केस लॉन्ग अगो. सो इट वाज सीन एज अ सीट बेल्ट्स एंड एयर बैग्स काइंड ऑफ जो माइंडसेट रहता है. सो नाउ बायर्स दे वांट मोर एंड डेफिनेटली अफोर्डेबल प्राइसेस पे भी. सो मोर फर्म्स दे आर फॉलोइंग दिस प्लेबुक एंड डिफरेंट अगेन कार मैन्युफैक्चरर्स दे आर आल्सो ट्राइंग टू एंटर दिस फोरम. Quote of the day is India is striving towards developing a substantial ecosystem that imbibes excellence and harnesses the potential of its manpower to build the healthcare systems with fortitude to tackle any health emergency. So this is in the context of health emergency. So we're talking what is the resilience, what is the preparedness level for any future pandemic, because this is again very important lesson when we talk about out of the COVID-19 experience that we had. So Herein, we are seeing basically technology and then potential of the manpower. So these are two important factors. Jiske through we are trying to build a resilient healthcare industry and healthcare system and network, different hospitals, जिसमें again public and private hospitals दोनों का important role रहेगा. So next we can continue up in part 2 of this video.